Okay, in this episode, we're revisiting our original episode on making your own lump charcoal. We've got a couple years in and probably 10 batches, so we've got some tips and tricks we want to share with you. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Tim and Joel. Welcome to Midwest Hunting and Outdoors by Two Dumbasses,
a podcast about the outdoors, hunting,
and being a steward of the land.
Hey, welcome to Midwest Hunting and Outdoors by Two Dumbasses. Today it's just one dumbass, the number one dumbass, and we're going to revisit making lump charcoal. So I would ask you to, click up here in the upper left-hand corner of your screen and look at the original episode. And in today's episode, I'm just going to talk about what we've learned, what I've learned over the last 2 years, and give some tips and tricks around improving your lump charcoal making. So tip number one, we got some feedback in the comment section saying, hey, I added some holes to my furnace, my cooking vessel, and it really improved my lump charcoal making. Well, I would tell you this, make sure to keep your vessel as airtight as you possibly can. Don't drill any holes. As you can see, I've got 3 holes here, and you're going to see me here in the video. I'm going to get some 1/2-inch bolts and plug these holes, because what I found is that the heat and the fire will go in this hole, and I've had some issues with maintaining a baking, an airless baking environment in here, and the flames get in here, start my wood on fire, and voila, I lose a third or half of my lump charcoal that I just spent 24 hours baking and making. So my advice to you would be stay with a sealed container. If it's this 55-gallon barrel or whatever container you're using, don't drill holes in it. And if you have drilled holes in it, plug them up and keep going. Okay, second tip. You saw in the original episode, we were using logs, fire logs for lack of a better term, splitting them and then cutting them to different dimensions, some of them pretty long in length. So since then we've evolved. We probably did that for the first 3 or 4 batches, but we have a local sawmill. So here's my tip. Go to the local sawmill, see what they have for scrap, and what we're finding is that you can get some really nice, clean, this is all oak, pieces of wood that come in different dimensions, some with bark, some with no bark, lengths, and then we're just use your chainsaw. I'm just using my power miter box to cut this to smaller pieces. Would recommend, what we found is smaller pieces work better. I think they dry better, and then more importantly, when they are charcoal, they'll fit in your grill better. They fit in our grill better. So that's tip number 2 is, continue to look for other sources of wood. Now this is oak. We started off using hickory, fantastic. We've used mulberry, we used oak, and then honestly we've probably used a couple other varieties of wood and not known it. But for us, in the end, using this as lump charcoal, we're getting the same taste, same characteristics from whatever wood that we're using. When you make this yourself, you get very intense smoke, very intense flavor in your grill, and we just absolutely love it. So tip number 2 is, continue to search for other sources of wood to make this task as easy as you possibly can. Okay, the next couple tips. One is, as you can see me using the tractor to move this over there, be prepared that this is going to be heavy. I have never weighed this, but I'm guessing it's 200 pounds or more when it's completely full of the wood. Now that may vary depending on what wood, size of wood, how dry or how wet your wood is, but it's no easy task moving this, so have a plan in place when you're going to get this to the fire. I'm going to build a fire, and as quickly as I can, I want to create coals in here. I don't want a big roaring flame coming up here. And I may have to do that for an hour or two to create the coals that I need. But the ultimate cook on this is getting hot coals underneath, glowing red, and that constant, consistent heat underneath this. And I'm going to cook this for about 24 hours. That's what I found for me in this setup. With this wood, it's about 24 hours, and I'm just periodically putting wood on here, trying to keep the fire low and consistent and hot versus raging. You're at the mercy of just letting this process take the time that it's needed, and for me, that's about 24 hours. All right, we've been cooking here for about a little bit over an hour, hour and a half, and this is really what you're looking for. So a lot of vapor coming out of the chimney. Most of it's water vapor at this stage, but later on as the wood dries and the moisture evaporates, it'll be different kinds of gases, methane, ethanol, etc. But my fire's doing really good. I've got, like I said, I want to create some coals underneath there, so I put some bigger logs on there to get it going, and then I'll let those burn down and push it underneath, get a nice bed of coals. But we're well on our way, and 20 plus hours or so we should be some good lump charcoal. All right, welcome back. Hey, it's been a couple weeks since the last time I put this on video. I do this burning at my cabin, which is kind of remote, and if I'm going to stay overnight, or if I've got a day and a half or 36 hours to commit to this, I'll start a fire and put this on and just do it all in one 24 to 30 hour time frame. But that wasn't the case with this batch. I had 2 or 3 hours of work here to do at the cabin, and then so while I was doing that, I'd build a fire, put this on. Right before I would leave, I would stoke the fire, leave it, and I did that 3 or 4 times. So I've got approximately 24 hours to 30 hours of cook time on this, and but it's as good as it's going to get. In fact, it's probably a little overdone because as you can see, I've got some smoke coming out of here, which means some of this wood is burning in there. So, which is one of my second to last tips here is when you pull your wood out of here, don't assume that it's done, it's good to go. Put it in a bag or put it in a container. Go put it in your garage, put it in your house. Put it outside for a couple days to make sure that it is completely exhausted itself and that there's no spark there. I've come back after a day or two, and it's amazing how long a little spark will sit there and build up. So you definitely don't want to burn up property and burn up your house, burn up your garage or whatever. The second thing I want to, last tip here I want to get into is the wood. So this has been a great cook. You're going to get kind of 2 different kinds of cook here. You're going to get wood that's charred, but I wouldn't call it charcoal. So it's really dried up, charred wood, but not charcoal. And the difference is, the charcoal will be light, it's brittle, you can break it apart. The wood is still one piece. Don't be discouraged by that. What I do with my barbecue is I'll use about half of the charcoal and then half supply of wood in there. And by the time I'm done for the second cook, that wood is turned into charcoal and now is good to do next time. So I'm going to put the lid back on here before this starts cooking up here. I'm trying to get this put out good enough that I can get in there and dump it out and deal with this. But if you have any questions or comments, would ask you to go back to the original video that we did on this and check that out, and then come back. This was more focused on tips and tricks a couple years after. This is probably batch 8 or 10 that we've done with this, and it works out really good. So best of luck, but until then, be safe, have fun, get outdoors.
Desperado.